Hi, it's me again with Corel Tips and Tricks. I went back to where I started because I thought we want to variegate the leaves of this plant and put in the circle. And I'm going to take a 3-point curve line. Let me zoom in here. I'm going to draw that first because that's the easiest. And I'm going to go from about right there to about right there. Whoop, not on the line. You want to be on that edge. And then just kind of mimic that circle because we're going to fill that in with black. Now, variegating this is like 100 different ways you could do it. I'm going to fill that in with black, and let me see what my nudge factor is. Let's just make it 1 inch, and let's run that up, and let's left click, right click, and I am going to, there's several ways to do this, but I'm going to do it this way. Go to effects and contour. I'm going to contour the inside 0.1. Too much, so 0.009, too much. I just want a little bit of a contour. 0.005, that'll work. That's what we want right there. Now, because this is a good example when you have, well, there's really nothing wrong with that. You just got that. So what we're going to do, whenever you contour, you've got to go to object. First of all, you got to select it all and then go up to arrange, right contour apart. And I'm going to fix that little bad spot right there by just deleting it. And I would take some time and curve that out. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this other part and move it over because this is our inside and we're going to kind of fill that in. And I'm going to take a 3-point curve line, and you could make dots and put in there, but we're going to go with this. I want to make sure it's long enough to reach everything. I'm going to go right there, and I'm going to turn this into a little bit thicker line. I'm going to go to arrange and convert it to an object. I'm going to go ahead and left click, right click so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Now I'm going to take another one, hitting the plus key on the keyboard, and I'm going to put it like right here. And I'm actually going to kind of rotate a little bit. Now I need to make a path for these to go on. And I'm going to use the 3-point curve line. And I'm just going to go from like right there to right there. And I'm going to have to get the shape tool to double click and make a new path. And I'm going to maybe call that good. Okay. Then I'm going to take our two objects, holding down the shift key, selecting them both, go to effect and blend. And we're just going to blend like 8 times. And see, that's what we got. So we've got a separation. And actually what I should have done is blended them and then blend along full path or blend along new path. There we go. That's what we wanted. Now, I'm going to select it all, and I'm going to go up and unselect all the items, and I'm going to take away our line. Now, I am going to fill in, and if you remember, this is a contour, so it's smaller. And you'd have to do this, and maybe he's not even going to want the contour. Now I'm going to, want the variegated. I'm going to bring that over there, and I'm going to take the Smart Fill tool, and I'm going to fill in an outline. And I'm going to go ahead and right-click No Outline. Now I can just delete these and see what I've got. I've got variation, and I'm going to move that over there. So that's maybe not perfect, but it's an idea. And you could quite possibly just do the whole plant. I don't like that. So what I'm going to do would be the other way. Let's Tell you what, let's do this. Let's smart fill it. Smart fill makes a new object. Let's move it over, and I'm going to left click, right click. The other way we could do this, and I don't know, you know, there's probably, like I said, there's probably 10 different ways. Let's make a rectangle, make it a little bit elongated, and go right up here and kind of round. It is so little. So this is something you could do, is fill these in, and let's make them kind of smaller. You know what? Let's make them quite a bit smaller. And let's hit the plus key on the keyboard, and let's put one right here, maybe rotate a little bit. And it's still, you don't want it taking up the whole thing, so we're going to make it smaller. And we're going to put this one right here, and we're actually going to make it smaller. I think this is going to work. Now take the 3-point curve line and go from the center of that one to the center of that one. Put a little curve, get the shape tool, add a node, bring that down, bring this up, and bring this down. And I think that'll work. Now select that, shift select that, and let's go, this time let's go 12 times. Now it looks like that, but then go to blend along new path. Look at that. Now go up to arrange and break the blend apart so we get rid of our line. And then just kind of look at it if some of them are touching the edge, like right here. So we're got to go to group and ungroup them. And this thing was not perfect. So let's move this. And this is where you'd want to change your nudge factor to like 0.01 or 0.1. Whoa, I forgot how little we're working. 0.001, because you don't want that touching. And like in the drawing, it was variegated. So if you did that all the way around, and then take your smart fill tool and fill that in, look what you got. Okay. Now I'm going to nudge that. Well, I'm just going to have to place it in there because we've changed the nudge so much sometimes. And also I want to take this and I want to left click, right click, and get that outline. We lost some detail there. I'm just going to get rid of these other lines. Whoop, don't get rid of that one. Okay, we're going to need to put a line there in just a second. But if we place this back in, kind of where it was, matter of fact, we can real easily take our shape tool and just bring that over. I know this might be boring to some of you, but it might teach you a tool or two, you know, along the way, or at least the way I would do something. And that looks good right there. So now what I'm going to do is, if we've done all the variation of the deal, I'm going to put a line. I'm just going to draw a straight line. I get so used to using the 3-point curve line, I forget to get the 2-point line. And we do have a line there, so we're actually going to take the 2-point line and just connect those two lines. Now we want to check to make sure it doesn't leak. So we're going to get the rectangle tool, smart fill tool, and look at that. Now in the original drawing, I think it was a little bit different. But I like that. I think I'm going to stay with that. Now I'm going to nudge up an inch. Okay. I'm going to get rid of this. Don't hit your calculator. And I apologize when I do that. My calculator is right above my. So now I'm going to nudge that back. And I am going to left click, right click. Well, it's not set on the hairline. Well, it is. What did I do wrong? Let me nudge that out of the way. Left click, right click. Somehow I've got more than one line, so I'm going to try this, go up to range. Well, why? Oh, there it is. Nudge that out of the way. There we go. I just had too many lines. So now I'm going to move that up back, move that back over. And we can always fill in those circles, but we're going to, what I want to do is, one, get rid of my rectangle. This is taking way longer than I thought. Control G to Control D to duplicate, get the two-sided cross and go right there. Now we're going to want to take away that center line. I'm going to turn off the indexing lines for a second, and I'm going to just delete that. And with the exception of that little faux pas right there, let's see if we can't select it all and fill it with black. Well, what we're going to have to do is can't do the circles like that. Let's take the virtual segment delete key and delete that line in half. And now, whenever you do this, you're going to want to nudge it up. So let's see, make sure nudge factor set on 1. And I'm going to nudge this up because I don't want the lines. And we're going to have to manually just fill this in, nudge it up. Fill that in, nudge it up. Fill that in. I'm being real confident that I don't have a leak. And why won't it let me fill in that? I'm going to use the rectangle just in case. Maybe I wasn't close enough. Huh. Won't fill in. Why is that? You know what? I think it's because it's a group. Yep. Go up to range, group, and ungroup it. Now it should fill in. There we go. Nudge it up. And we'll go ahead and do both sides. I could have done this before. And we're almost there, folks, I promise you. Now I'm just going to move all this out of the way. I'm going to group this together, Control G, and I'm going to nudge it back. Now, I think my nudge factor was set on 3 inches earlier. I'm going to move my triangle back, or my 6-sided triangle. And like I did before, I'm going to select this, and I'm going to move it up. Now, bring in our indexing lines. Control D and make a duplicate. Double click on the rotation, put it in the center, click off of it, make sure it is, and let's rotate it 60 degrees. Control D, Control D, Control D. So with a few mistakes I made, and if you would put, maybe he doesn't want to variegate them all. And I would definitely, before I rotate them, would take out this sharp point. Let's just back up and do that. And then I'll call this video good. And we'll try to work on something else. Now, because this is a group, we've got to left click or ungroup it. And we should be able to take the shape tool and then maybe this way they wouldn't be both perfect. Now you can see the other colors there. So what we're going to do, we're going to click on it and hit delete. We have 2 sets of lines. So I'm going to take, this time I'm actually going to take the smoothing tool. Wow. 0.01. And just kind of smooth out that part right there. Maybe make it a little bit bigger. The bigger your nib, the more that's going to be too much. But it's going to make the flower look better. And see, I got a little faux pas right there. So I'm going to use the shape tool, delete that, and then take this node and just bring it down so we won't be in our variegated lead part. This is actually one you would probably want to cut it in half and do it again, but I've wasted enough of your time as it is. And one more and we'll be at least done with this part of the video. I'm going to try to finish this. I'm going to call that good. So now group this together, Control G, Control D to duplicate it. You know, I used to have an alternate C, but I need to reload it. No, it worked. 60 degrees. And we are, you know, like we're halfway there. Because I think the other parts will be a lot easier. Now, one thing we don't have, I don't have a center part in there, and that could be done. I just made my lines thicker. But if you want to, see, these are parts of that other one that we could probably use. Anyway, I hope that helped a little bit. Thank you for watching.